Hi, boys and girls. We are going to be reading a story called Digging Up Dinosaurs by Aliki. And this lady says, and putting them back together. Digging up dinosaurs. And I will try my hardest to read you the names of these dinosaurs. Just don't laugh at me. I'm going to try my hardest. All right. Have you ever seen dinosaur skeletons in a museum? I have. I visit them all the time. I went yesterday. I saw a Apatosaurus. I saw Corythosaurus. I saw Iguanodon and Triceratops. I like to say their names. And these people say, that's how it looked. And that's a picture of how it used to look. This one says, it looks like a duck. I'm glad it's extinct. That thing on its head is a crest. How do you know so much? It doesn't fit on the page. I recognize a Iguanodon by its horn thumbs. Tri means three. 3 horns. And now, Scolosaurus was just where I had left it, and Tyrannosaurus Rex looked as fierce as ever. Tyrannosaurus used to scare me. I still can't believe how big it is. Just its head is almost twice my size. I'm not afraid of dinosaurs anymore. Sometimes I call them, you bag of bones, under my breath. I can spend hours looking at them. I used to wonder where they came from and how they got into the museum. But now I know. I'm scared. Here he is. This is a little fella. One swat of his tail would show you how little. Hello up there, the king. Dinosaurs lived millions of years ago. A few of them were as small as birds, but most were enormous. Some dinosaurs ate plants. Some dinosaurs ate the meat of other dinosaurs. And some may even have eaten the eggs of other dinosaurs. Dinosaurs lived almost everywhere on Earth. They lived for millions of years. Then they died out. No one is sure why they became extinct, but they did. There hasn't been a dinosaur around for 65 million years. Until about 200 years ago, no one knew anything about dinosaurs. Then people began finding things in rocks. They found large footprints. They found huge, mysterious bones and strange teeth. People were finding fossils. They began asking questions about them. What monster made a footprint 3 feet long? Did this belong to a human giant? Or to what beast had 6-inch teeth? Fossils are a kind of diary of the past. They are the remains of plants and animals that died long ago. Instead of rotting or crumbling away, the remains were preserved and slowly turned to stone. So dinosaur dies and sinks into river. Its flesh rots, its skeleton is covered by mud. In time, the mud and skeleton turn to stone. Dinosaur is hidden for millions of years. The earth changes, some of the stone breaks away. Part of the dinosaur is exposed or shows from the ground. Fossils tell about life on Earth long ago. Everything we know about dinosaurs comes from studying fossils. Fossil hunters found more and more big bones in different parts of the world. Scientists studied the fossils. They said the bones and teeth and footprints all belong to a group of giant reptiles that lived on Earth for millions of years. The giants were named Dinosauria, or terrible lizards. In 1822, Mary Ann Mantell found the first dinosaur fossils in England. She discovered some giant fossil teeth. In 1825, her husband, Dr. Gideon Mantell, named the animal Iguanodon, or iguana tooth. 9 years later, he found a mass of iguanodon bones. In 1841, Dr. Richard Owen named the giant reptiles Dinosauria. What finds these were people crowded into museums to see them, but the dinosaur bones didn't just get up and walk there. They had to be dug out of the ground slowly and patiently. Even today, digging up dinosaurs is not an easy job. A team of experts must work together. Paleontologist, a scientist who studies ancient plants and animals. This skull belongs to a plant eater named Scelidosaurus. Sorry, that was really bad. A geologist, a scientist who can tell the age of rocks and fossils. And a draftsman who draws the pictures of the fossils. There are draftswomen too. Workers who dig the fossil out of the rock. We're not the fossils. Oh, yeah. Photographer who takes pictures of the find. Cheese. Specialists who prepare the fossil for the museum. Don't bump the baby. That's their dinosaur bones in there. They're calling baby. This is how fossil hunters work. First, they have to find a dinosaur. They search along riverbanks and in quarries. That's where they dig up dirt, is called a quarry. They climb up high cliffs and down into steep canyons. With luck, someone spots a fossil bone poking through the rock. You never know where you'll find something. This is dangerous. Look. The site is covered with a tent and the work begins. Sometimes the fossil is buried so deep, the rock around it has to be drilled or blasted. Tons of rubble are carted away. Scientists chip at the rock close to the fossil. They brush away the grit. They have to be very careful. There may be just a bone or two hidden here. If we're lucky, there may be a whole skeleton. In that case, this dig could take months, even years. A fossil is hard as rock, but very brittle, and easy to shatter. What a lot of rubble! As soon as a bone is uncovered, it is brushed with shellac. The shellac helps hold the bone together, so it won't crumble. Then the bone is numbered. Sometimes a skeleton has to be cut apart so that it can be moved. The draftsman draws each bone in its exact position, and the photographer takes pictures. That way, there can be no mix-up later when someone tries to put the skeleton back together. Don't move! Like it's going to move. How silly. Sometimes bones are found all scrambled up, like this. Figuring out how they fit together is another big job. When the bones are ready to be moved, they are carefully wrapped. Small bones are wrapped in tissue paper and put into boxes or sacks. Matchboxes are perfect for the tiny pieces. Imagine unscrambling these if we forgot to number them. This lady's saying a number. Large bones are left half buried in the rock. They will be dug out later in the museum. These fossils are covered with a plaster cast, just as a broken leg is. The cast protects the bone. It's amazing how fragile even the big bones are. First, the parts of the fossil that show are covered with wet tissue paper, and then the strips of burlap dipped in wet plaster. Then the whole piece is wrapped in the same way. When the plaster dries, it becomes very hard. The tissue paper covering makes the cast easier to remove later. Each bone is then packed in straw, put into a crate, and taken to the museum. Unpacking all these bones in the museum laboratory will be a big job too. We're lucky there is a road this time. At the museum, scientists unwrap the fossil. They finish digging it out of the rock. They study the bone. This rock is 115 million years old. That means the dinosaur is too. I can tell from these many flat teeth that this was a plant eater. Scientists dig out the fossil in many different ways. They use a hammer and chisel, fine needles, power tools that work like a dentist drill, special sandblasting machines, and even chemicals that dissolve the rock, but do not harm the fossil. They compare the bones to other dinosaur bones. They compare them to the bones of the other animals. Then they try to figure out what size and shape the dinosaur was. They try to find out how the dinosaur stood and walked and what it ate. These are from an Iguanodon skeleton. We can tell from the way the bones and teeth are shaped and worn. This is definitely an Iguanodon hip bone. And here's an example of what an Iguanodon looks like. If there are enough bones, scientists are able to build a complete skeleton. A frame is made in the shape of a dinosaur to support the bones. The bones are wired together, one by one. They are built in place with pieces of metal. They are held in place with pieces of metal. If any bones are missing, plastic or fiberglass ones are made to replace them. You can hardly tell the new bones from the old ones. After many months, the work is complete. The dinosaur skeleton looks just as it once did. This structure is strong enough for a Iguanodon. It better be. It has to hold up by itself when the chains are removed. When they first found Iguanodon, they thought its thumbs belonged on its nose. Those early scientists had some job. They'd fall apart without me. Lower. Hello, baby. She's taking the bone out of the crate. Until recently, only a few museums had dinosaurs. Then scientists learned how to make copies of the skeletons. The copy is hard to make. It takes a long time. The original skeleton has to be taken completely apart, bone by bone, and a mold is made for each bone. The new pieces are made of fiberglass. A fiberglass dinosaur is just as scary as the original, but much stronger and lighter. It would take 4 of us to hold a real one. Have you heard the latest? Sometimes scientists think Stegosaurus's back plates were in a single, not double row. If it's proved, we'll have to correct our model. New discoveries are made all the time. Remember when a Apatosaurus had the wrong head? Better him than me. Each bone has a top and a bottom mold. The original bone is covered with rubber, latex, and an outer coating of the fiberglass to hold the rubber stiff. This is peeled off the bone to form the mold. The inside of the mold is brushed with resin and filled with fiberglass. That many dinosaurs can be made from the same molds. Now museums all over the world have dinosaur skeletons, and many people can spend hours looking at them, the way I do. See you in the museum sometime. Bye! I hope you enjoyed the reading, guys. We're going to have another dinosaur book after this one, so please take a peek at that one, and we're going to have some questions from both. All right, talk to you soon. Bye!